Thank you for joining us today. Awesome. Okay, so today we are talking about QA/QC for RCA or recycled concrete aggregate.
It's pretty awesome.
Right? So what is QA/QC?
Well, QA/QC is quality assurance, quality control, which is part of a larger quality management system, where you're taking into account the things, the recurring work program that you need to ensure that the material that you designed, is the material that you delivered. And in the case in point for RCA, we want a certain window of ASR tolerance,
Right.
or not tolerance, but
Yeah, I would say tolerance.
sure,
A certain amount
Potential.
of ASR is acceptable.
acceptable. And then there's an absorption that we don't want to be higher than.
Right.
And then there's a certain strength and sulfur.
Right.
So there are a lot of tests that we need to do every, 500 to 1,000 cubic yards, depending on how good your QA/QC is.
Right, depending on the information you have on that past
Right.
concrete.
The idea, though, why do we care about that?
Because you need to know what it is that you're putting in your concrete
Right.
mix.
Well, we do that with virgin or
We
natural
do.
aggregate.
We do.
And that's the hardest part for people to recognize, is the same things that you would do for virgin or natural aggregate.
You have to do it for RCA. It's still aggregate. Like, you still have to evaluate it.
It's hard to see it that way.
It
You
is.
say it because, Whitney is our expert. She's done all of the work, and we've done nothing but support her. Through university, through the
Sure.
laboratory, presented it to the American Concrete Institute multiple times.
Sure.
So literally is our expert on RCA. So that's why we defer to her a lot on this subject. She's absolutely brilliant with it. And a lot of the work that we've done, we find that the biggest resistance
Yeah.
comes from this portion of it.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's where the conflict rises, where if you don't do the QA/QC, QMS, what happens?
Bad things. I mean, your concrete is going to not be the concrete that you want it to be.
Workability.
Yeah, well, that's a huge piece. I mean, right off the bat, the workability, because of the absorption that you have with it. So if you're not, taking the absorption into account, you're just going to have a mix that's nasty to work with.
My favorite, and if you don't store it, stockpile it,
Right.
where you control the moisture,
Right.
and then do something to that absorption,
Right.
you're gonna run into problems.
Well, and then also organization with you need to have similar types of concrete grouped together,
Right.
so that you know what it is that you're working with. You don't want slabs from all over the place, all crumbled up and dumped into one pile.
So there are these things that make RCA difficult to use,
Sure.
but not impossible.
No.
And as long as you're willing to be flexible
Right.
with the way you've treated or thought you should treat this material, then
You can be very
fine.
successful with
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Now, I remember we worked with some folks who weren't doing that. It doesn't matter who. They were doing they had made up their own quality management system, which was very laissez-faire,
Right.
or ad hoc.
Appreciate that vernacular.
Oh, thank you. I don't have a vernacular that's bourgeois.
You do not.
But they adopted their own quality management
Right.
system that was very hands-off. And when we went out to the job site to, be that bird's eye view of how is everything going and are we going to get to that point, right away,
Yeah, we're like, no.
we knew that the entire system was broken.
Right. With what they were being very, as John says, laissez-faire, and they wanted 20 to 30 year pavements.
And they wanted the 20 to 30 minutes or the 30 minutes to 90 minutes to be perfect across the board. And I tell you, it was before we even went to view stockpiles and the ready mix operations. We were on the job site, and the first truck came in, and they took the slump, and somebody read the slump out. It was like, blankety blank inches, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the reaction,
Relief.
finally. It was like, why is it a relief? Why is
Right.
it a surprise? Why is it a knee-jerk
You
reaction?
should know
that
what you have.
it should be just like making standard concrete,
Right.
not miracle.
Right.
W. So, I hope you learned something out of this. I think the biggest thing that we want to express is that there are a lot of people who've already done the research.
Oh yeah, very successfully, and yeah.
Japan, it is amazing what they've done with RCA, but it's not just making of it and the use. It's the quality management system that they've created.
I mean, there's
airports, huge.
Oh yeah, and more airports in the state are starting to at least experiment with it. Not as many are doing it as, you know, as commonly as overseas, but
it starts with demos. It starts with pilots. So if you have any questions, if you have any RCA concrete concerns, throw them in the comments section below. Let us know. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Absolutely.
Have an awesome day. Go concrete!
Beat asphalt.